The morning hush in Cedar Grove Square seemed deliberate, as if the town itself braced for something. Serena Walker stepped down from the old town hall, her orange dress catching the golden light like a signal flare. She didn't command attention. She drew it effortlessly. Hoop earrings swayed. Her stride was even. Her chin lifted, her aura absolute. People noticed. A woman clutched her daughter's hand tighter. Conversations stilled midward. It wasn't fear Serena inspired. It was recognition. Of grace. Of presence. Of something that didn't ask permission to exist, yet made space obey. At the edge of the square, four young men lounged against a scuffed taxi. Their laughter was lazy until one of them whistled, a sharp, mocking sound meant to rattle. Serena didn't flinch. Her eyes cut toward him, calm, unbothered, unshakable. It landed heavier than any insult. The young man's chuckle faltered. His friends, suddenly less bold, turned away. The moment slipped by, but not unnoticed. Overhead, a security camera adjusted with a mechanical hum, lens narrowing on her. It captured every detail, the sway of her braids, the glow of the dress, the silence she carved in motion. The machine blinked red, recording. A black SUV pulled into the lot and parked without fuss. Its engine died quietly, as if respecting the atmosphere. Serena's steps didn't falter. The heels of her sandals struck pavement with metronomic calm. The square leaned in. A patrol car idled nearby. From it stepped Lieutenant Conrad Royce. His uniform was impeccable, creased collar, gleaming badge, shoes polished to a shine. But his posture held tension, the kind earned by someone who expected obedience and found resistance instead. He saw the orange dress before he saw the woman. His eyes narrowed. He reached for his radio. Subject female. Orange dress. Cedar Grove Square, he said, voice flat, precise. The square inhaled. Royce walked forward with slow authority. He stopped 3 feet from her. This is my district, he said. No performances here. Serena said nothing. Her gaze didn't waver. He added, I run this space. I expect cooperation. Still no reply. Her stillness unsettled him more than defiance would have. People were watching. A man at the bakery froze with a coffee midair. A mother stopped her stroller. Even the pigeons quieted. Royce's voice sharpened. ID. Nothing. You think that dress makes you untouchable? He reached out and grabbed the back of her dress. Not violently, but with ownership. He tugged. The fabric gave way slightly, a tear forming just below her shoulder. It was small, but deliberate. Gasps erupted as a woman near the bakery dropped a loaf of bread and yelled, Hey! A young man rushed forward, fists clenched, but an older woman grabbed his arm. Not now. Above, the camera zoomed in with a soft mechanical buzz, catching the fray in high resolution. Serena stood still. No flinch. No tear. Her eyes locked on Royce's that he leaned in. Calm down. I'm enforcing order, he muttered, but even he could hear how brittle it sounded. Blood bloomed faintly where the dress tore. Yet Serena didn't move. The silence was no longer peaceful. It was charged, like the square itself was holding its breath. Royce's jaw tensed. His eyes flicked to the red mark, then back to the people watching him. His power felt different now. Fragile. A door slammed from a nearby car. It echoed. He stepped back slightly and tapped his body cam, finally turning it on. Footage must be preserved, he said aloud, mostly for the record. Or maybe for himself. Someone muttered, Now you turn on? A little girl near the fountain whispered, Mommy, is he hurting her? Her voice was soft, but it carried that a man raised his phone, recording. Royce saw it. He hesitated. Serena adjusted her stance, shoulders squared but relaxed, as if inviting a choice. And then the crowd shifted, not in protest, not in chaos, but in a quiet ripple. Dozens of eyes moved from Serena to Royce, then back again. Judgment, witness, memory. Royce's next move would define everything. He felt it, the square watching, the uniform pressing against his chest like armor or a trap. I'll ask you one more time, he said, voice low, warning threaded through every word. Name. Now. Serena finally blinked. Her lips parted just slightly. Not a smile, not a grimace, but a pause before something bigger. She raised her chin, and then, from the edge of the square, a second voice rang out. "Lieutenant Royce, that's enough." All heads turned. A woman in a gray suit stepped from the SUV. A badge clipped at her hip, her hair braided, her eyes sharp and unreadable. She walked with purpose, cutting across the silence like wind across still water. Royce's mouth opened. "Ma'am, I don't." Her voice was clear, composed. "Step away from Ms. Walker." Now, the crowd exhaled, but no one moved. Serena remained still, watching that Royce's face twitched, and then heads turned. In that instant, the invisible chains of silence began to crack. A child hid behind her mother. Serena stood firm, though her shoulder ached. Lieutenant Royce straightened, his body camera blinking to life. The square exhaled as if awakening, charged with the realization that bearing witness was the first act of resistance. A bystander lifted his phone again, capturing not only Serena's pain, but a community rediscovering its power. A black SUV pulled up, its engine hushed, and from it stepped a man in a white suit. Calm, composed, commanding. He walked slowly, purposefully. Officers around Serena stiffened. Royce turned, unsettled. A younger officer leaned in. "Sir, that's Agent Travis Walker." Royce froze. Walker didn't rush. He stepped forward, quiet authority in every stride. From his jacket, he drew a badge, the golden emblem gleaming brighter than Royce's. In that moment, Walker's presence overpowered uniforms and ranks. No words, no threats, just truth. Then Walker spoke. "She needs no proof. She is my daughter." The words hit Royce like a blow. He dropped his gaze. The crowd made no sound. Phones were raised, eyes wide. Serena remained silent, still breathing calmly. Royce stepped back, defeated. His authority drained from him like air from a torn balloon. Cameras captured it all. The unraveling of a man undone not by violence, but by a simple truth that a group of young people gathered around Serena and Walker, live streaming. Children watched wide-eyed. Adults whispered. One young officer approached Royce. "Do you understand now?" Royce said nothing. His lips trembled. Walker turned toward him. "Do you know how many times my family stayed silent about you?" Before Royce could speak, a radio beeped, urgent backup. And in that moment, he understood. Every action, every word had been recorded. There would be no erasing what the cameras had captured. 1 week later, Royce sat alone in an interrogation room. A screen flickered before him. Replaying the moment, he tore Serena's dress. Her calm face on the screen turned his blood cold. The walls were bare. The only sound, a ticking clock and the wind slipping through a cracked window. Across from him, a female investigator scribbled notes, her pen moving like a final verdict. "Do you understand what you're facing?" she asked. Royce lowered his head. No answer came. Just the weight of silence, and the memory of Serena's gaze. The chill deepened. He realized there was no undoing what had been seen, no hiding from a truth exposed in daylight. The video didn't lie, and now, neither could he. This story reminds us of something crucial. Real strength does not always speak loudly. Sometimes it stands still, calmly, and forces the world to reckon with its injustice. When authority is used to intimidate and dignity is stripped away, resistance can look like a firm stance, a quiet stare, and a refusal to break. Serena didn't shout. She didn't beg. She stood, and the truth stood with her. The cameras didn't just record an incident. They documented a turning point, a moment when power shifted, not with fists, but with clarity. And in doing so, they helped justice take its first step. If I were in Serena's shoes, I would make sure the footage was protected, shared, and used to advocate for lasting change. I'd partner with local groups, hold workshops, and educate communities on the importance of equality, respect, and accountability. I'd support victims of discrimination and work to reform the systems that allow injustice to hide behind a badge. As for the future, will racism be gone by 2050? We can hope, but change is not automatic. It takes effort. Every conversation, every action matters. The more we document injustice, the less space it has to grow in silence. Progress is slow, but it is possible. And maybe, if we keep watching, keep standing, keep speaking when it matters, maybe one day children won't need to hide behind their mothers, and no one will need to prove their right to be treated with dignity.